One of the central themes of Loner Wolf is to help you navigate through your periods of transformation. The lone wolf is a symbol, a metaphor of living in a time between worlds. You've left behind your pack and you're heading into this unknown territory. Becoming a first-time dad recently to a little boy called Sage has reminded me firsthand what it feels like to be thrown into this unknown, wandering through a transformation again. It's easy to assume that you have to travel to a faraway place to do ayahuasca, or maybe try a 21-day intensive meditation retreat, or a new method of breathwork or bodywork to experience deep transformation. The reality is that the process of transformation can be way simpler than that. But don't confuse simple with easy. Most of us fear transformation, including myself, because you know that if you change, you might not recognize the person that you've become. And yet, real transformation doesn't give you much of a choice. You get thrown onto this journey and you just have to deal with it and figure out how to navigate it. I think that's what makes these periods of transformation so scary, is that you understand at some level that you can't go back, that you won't be able to fit into the life that you've left behind, that you once knew. The people that you knew might not recognize you anymore. The things that you valued might have changed. From what I've observed, you can't choose when or how you transform, because it wouldn't really be transformation. If you could, it would mean that you have control, and you can't control it. The process is more wild and spontaneous. It feels like someone's pulling a rug from under your feet, or like your whole world is dissolving. For instance, someone in your life might be born, but someone else might pass away. These moments can become deeply transformative if you allow them to be, and you don't cling to an idea of how you think life should be. Ultimately, I feel that the biggest realization that I had are that you can't choose which of these events are going to change you. For some people, having someone die in their life, for example, is a profoundly sad experience. But for someone else, it might make them question the meaning and purpose of life and throw them into an existential crisis. Not everyone is affected the same way, but if radical changes do happen, these transitional events have a way of shifting your priorities, your values, even your relationship with life. You don't have to go anywhere to experience transformation. Sometimes it's just a matter of tuning in to the context of your life. You're often being invited to transform in some way. As the old saying goes, change is the only constant, and transformation is a form of change. Transformation is something we're always going through in some form, whether it's your thought patterns that are shifting, your mood might be fluctuating, your breath is changing pace. The problem is that you need to stay long enough with an experience to allow it to transform you. Otherwise, without conscious attention to what's happening, it's easy to ignore or suppress or avoid the process. And that's one of the shadow sides or the traps that the wanderers can come across on their journeys if they're not present in each stage of that journey. In our desire to preserve our freedom as seekers or spiritual wanderers, we sometimes run the risk of moving too quickly through life without sticking around long enough in some place to allow it to transform us, to serve as a catalyst. The reality is that in some areas of your life, if you don't place some roots, if you don't stay long enough in one place or remain committed to something, you miss out on the virtues and strengths that can come from allowing these deeper roots to bring out from you. If you pursue this path of conscious evolution, eventually the individual transformation ripples into the culture at large and brings about a collective transformation. It may not seem like you're going to change the whole system, but these small ripples matter in the end. That's the paradox of this journey. You need to embrace your humanity by placing down roots in the world that will ground you, while at the same time staying open and fluid to the divine within and letting go into the great mystery. Tell me, What kind of transformation are you trying to navigate right now? And what are the deeper lessons you think it's trying to teach you? Let me know in the comments below.